Konami, you made another terrible mistake. Today, big dog, I'm going to be showing you how these two new Yu-Gi-Oh cards from Age of Overlord completely changes Yu-Gi-Oh and gives birth to another powerful deck that not a lot of players see coming. My guy, it only seems like I was waiting for Konami to make this goofy mistake, and now the entire Yu-Gi-Oh community is gonna have to deal with it. So really quick, in case you were wondering, this is a Clash of the Gods map from TheCaliEffect.com. Go ahead and check out my website and pick up accessories while they still last. And for the people that are looking for some things that we don't have right now, we do have a pre-order that will get to you sometime around in December. With that all out of the way, let me show you how powerful this Yu-Gi-Oh deck is and why I play these particular cards to be able to go full combo and dominate. The main engine of this deck is a Therion engine, and right now there's 3 copies of Therion King Regulus. This card is absolutely phenomenal. The Therion engine is just incredibly good for 2 reasons. First, it allows you to be able to summon level 8 monsters to your field for almost free, but second, these monster effects also provide protection, insulation, extension, and of course, a really good grind game. I also complement my 3 copies of Therion Regulus with 3 copies of Therion Lily Berea. This card is insane. In this particular deck, we take full advantage of this card being a plant. Dioblantis, the Menacing Mantis, actually sends this from the deck to the graveyard, which means that we can search any Therion spell card from our deck to our hand and get our combos going. After that, we actually do play the next best Therion monster. Not a lot of people know about it, but I think Therion Empress Alacia is completely cracked. The best thing about Alacia is that not only can it special summon level 8 Therion monsters, it actually can discard cards in your hand which come up for this deck. And then lastly is 1 copy of Therion's Duke Yule. This card isn't as powerful, but the fact that it is a level 8 Therion monster that you can easily summon really helps the deck, as it is another name. Now there is one Therion monster which I think is completely insane. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why I play the deck. Therion Irregular is completely crazy. What a lot of people don't understand about Therion Irregular is that it gains all of the Therion monsters that it equips, but even more importantly, it actually can wipe your opponent's entire board. What this particular deck wants to do is simplify the game where effects like this become really easy to resolve, and that's how you are able to secure so many wins with this deck. And to be able to help complement that, I play 3 copies of Endless Engine Aggro System. This card is actually another amazing card. Not only does it allow Therion Irregular to be able to trigger in the late game, it also gets Therion monsters back to your hand and is the perfect card to discard from your hand for effects. Also, in a really bad pitch, it can put Therion cards in your graveyard, the ones that you want to be able to start your combo. That is the reason why this deck has such a great grind game. For the Therion spell cards that you'll be searching, only 2 copies of Therion Discoliseum and 1 copy of Therion Charge. Ironically, you don't need 3 copies of Therion Discoliseum despite this being a Therion deck. And the reason why I only play 1 copy of Therion Charge is not only can it be recycled through Endless Engine Aggro System, it also is a hard once per turn. This card is pretty good for being able to unbrick your hand, but moving on, that is the Therion engine. The second engine that makes this deck crazy is the Horse cards. Now, the Horse cards in this deck serves multiple functions. 1, it allows you to be able to discard Therion monsters to the graveyard, so you can then follow up by summoning your Therion monsters by attaching the ones that you sent. 2 is that they are level 8 monsters that can easily be summoned. That gives you a really good grind game. But what's really crazy about this deck is that you can actually take full advantage of all of your Horus monsters. In this particular build, there's 3 copies of Mseti, Glory of the Horus. This card is crazy. Mseti is ridiculous because it does get you into your King Sarcophagus, but more importantly, it allows you to draw a card. This actually cycles cards from your hand into the graveyard, allowing you to build up resources while getting cards that you need to your hand. And happily, outside of Mseti, we actually play all of the other Horus monsters. 1 Happy, 1 I don't know this card's name, and 1 Duamtep. Now I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Outside of Happy, I did not know these other monsters had some crazy effects, but they're really good. Happy allows you to add cards when cards leave your field. Prevents your monsters from being targeted, and Duamtep allows you to be able to draw additional cards, something that this deck is way about. Now, to be able to complement these Horus cards, a lot of people only play 1, but I play 2 copies of King Sarcophagus here, and it's for multiple reasons. reasons. The first thing that I've noticed about playing this particular engine is that players will do anything to get rid of your King Sarcophagus. Having a second one is a nice, pleasant surprise. The second one is actually so I can resolve Mseti's effect. That effect is really, really good for being able to get cards into your graveyard and draw cards. Adding another King Sarcophagus is not a bad trade-off. Also, keep in mind the Horus cards are crazy good. They allow you to be able to send any monster to the graveyard that your Horus monsters battle and prevent your opponent from destroying. The Horus engine is actually insane in this deck because not only does it allow you to get cards into the graveyard, it allows you to get a grind game engine going. And the last engine that I play in this deck is even more insane. I've noticed about this Therion deck is that you don't use your normal summon, and this engine is perfectly complementary. There's 3 copies of Viscous Samsara. This card is amazing. Viscous Samsara is a 1-card combo that gets your entire deck going. It's crazy how powerful just this 1 card can be. But also keep in mind, Viscous Samsara is also Visa Starfrost in the graveyard and a 15/21 monster. Getting multiple copies of these cards to the graveyard gets you a free level 8 monster. This is hands down the best normal summon of the deck, but the second best normal summon is not that far behind. Scareclaw Rykart is really good, but it's typically the card that you summon after you search with Scareclaw Rykart. There's then 2 complementary copies of Scareclaw Arrival, which isn't once per turn and can special summon your monsters back to your field for the combo. And then to complete the Viscous Samsara engine, 2 copies of Primitive Planet Rakephobia. This card is ridiculous. Just like how Rykart allows you to be able to draw a card, Primitive Planet Rakephobia allows you to be able to destroy a card by having 3 monsters in defense position. So not only does this little engine provide a ton of combo potential, as well as make the deck a lot more consistent, it also gives you board-breaking methods to be able to get rid of your opponent's cards along the way, which is the reason why I decided not to play any hand traps inside of this deck. I wanted to be able to make my opponent's cards like Triple Tactics Talent completely useless, but also I saw the potential in this deck being able to go second and easily play through boards because your opponent is forced to use their effects on so many other cards that almost feel like they don't make any sense. Afterward, I would have to say this is the worst card in the deck because if this gets Ash Blossomed, it's really bad. But in all honesty, you play like 10 level 8 monsters, and if you can resolve the effect of Trade In, you're so far ahead. For the power cards, I play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent and 1 copy of Triple Tactics Thrust. I personally think you can play 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, but I like Thrust because it can search any of my normal spells too. The reasoning behind these cards is that if my opponent does hand trap me, I can look at their hand, get rid of a card, and then build a board. And if I'm going second, these are cards my opponent has to interact with, allowing my other cards to be able to play. There's also that 1 copy of Call by the Grave because Droll and Logbert and Dimension Shifter are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I wouldn't say that this deck loses to hand traps, but this is a really good card for being able to stop so many cards in the game break. And lastly, when I said I don't play any hand traps, I lied. I play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I don't think this is really a hand trap as much as a board breaker, because oftentimes I'll be using it at the start of my turn to be able to stop my opponent or force my opponent to stop it. But that's it for the main board at 42 cards, blazing through the extra deck because everything will be explained in the combo tutorial. For the extra deck, there's 1 Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, 1 Dingirsu, this card's actually crazy for making Zeus, 1 copy of Gigantic Champion Sargus, really important for the combo, 1 copy of Divine Dragon Knight Felgram, which is also really important, 1 copy of Coach King Game Trainer. This card is really good at being able to draw and grade in time. 1 copy of number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. This card is amazing. For the Synchro monsters, because we actually do play Synchros, there's 1 Diablantis and 1 copy of Draco Berserker of Tingy. Diablantis is really important for the combo sequence. 2 copies of Vicious Astral Owl for the fusion monsters. This card is really crazy, being able to destroy cards and be a big body level 8 monster. For the Link monsters, there's 2 copies of Scareclaw Lightheart, really important for the particular combo. 1 IP and SP, very easy monsters to summon to be able to disrupt. And lastly is 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, just in case your opponent makes a bigger immune monster, which doesn't happen often, but really easy to summon with the Horus cards. Now, I think the most insane thing about this deck is that it is a 1-card combo, meaning the other 4 or 5 cards in your hand can be used to exhaust your opponent's resources or to protect your combo, because it's really easy for this deck to do that with cards like Therion Regulus and Photon Lord. The only card that you need to be able to do this entire combo is Viscous Samsara, and I'm going to walk you through the steps on why this is so crazy. We're going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning Viscous Samsara and then using it for a link summon into our Scareclaw Lightheart. Use your effect of Scareclaw Lightheart to be able to get your Primitive Planet Rakephobia to your hand, and then use your Primitive Planet Rakephobia to be able to add your Scareclaw Rake card to your hand. Now, because you control a Scareclaw monster, you can special summon your Scareclaw Rake card, and this is a really interesting sequence because if there are 2 other monsters in defense position, you can draw 1 card from your deck to your hand. Now, I will say there are 2 different lines for this combo sequence. One of them involves an additional card. As you can see, this is a 1-card combo if you have 3 monsters that can be summoned in defense position, but I'm going to show you hypothetically if you don't have any other cards, which you can do as well. We're going to use the effect of our Rake card to be able to search Scareclaw Arrival, then draw that card. We'll pretend that 3 monsters are in defense position because we'll also be able to use our Primitive Planet Rakephobia, which will allow us to be able to destroy another card on the field. So far, we've gotten to draw a card as well as destroy a card just by having defense position monsters. We'll then activate Scareclaw Arrival to be able to special summon Vista Samsara to our side of the field since it is a Vista Starfrost. And then since we have a tuner and a non-tuner, we can synchro summon with both of these monsters into our Diablantis, the Menacing Mantis. Now, Menacing Mantis will trigger its effect to be able to send 1 plant monster from the deck to the graveyard, and our target is going to be our Therions Lily Borea. Also, this probably should be in defense in case you didn't resolve the effect of Rakephobia. Also, because we have a monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, and a Viscus monster, we can then banish both of these monsters to be able to special summon Viscus Astrolabe to our field, which can then destroy another card on the field. So far, we've already drawn an additional card, we've destroyed 2 cards, and now we're about to take it a step further. Since these 2 monsters are level 8, we can use both of these monsters for an Exceed summon. We're going to make our Gigantic Champion Sargus, and now we're going to use the effect of our Gigantic Champion Sargus to be able to add a Therions monster from our deck to our hand. Here is where that discard comes up. I'll then activate the effect of my Therion Empress Alacia, targeting my Lily Borea to be able to attach itself. And now, since it does have Therion's Lily Borea's effect, you can use it to send the Primitive Planet Rakephobia to the graveyard to be able to add a Therion's Disc Coliseum to your hand. Go ahead and activate that effect of Therion's Disc Coliseum, using it to be able to get a Therion King Regulus. And here's where it gets really cool. You can use the Therion's Empress Alacia. We will go ahead and send 1 card from our hand to the graveyard to special summon the Lily Borea. You can then use both the effect of our Therion Empress Alacia and our Lily Borea for an Exceed summon into Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. And the amazing thing about this is that you can now use the effect of Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. You can detach the Lily Borea to make the Scareclaw Lightheart unaffected, and then use the effect of Gigantic Champion Sargus. You can detach the card and then add the card you discarded back into your hand. From here, you can follow up by activating the Therion Regulus. You can special summon it to the side of the field by attaching your Lily Borea. Breaking down exactly what just 1 card did for this deck. You have a Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand, which can negate a monster on the field or make a monster unaffected, but you also have your Gigantic Champion Sargus to be able to destroy or add a card from the graveyard to the hand. You also have a Therion King Regulus, which during the next turn will allow you to search any Therion spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and can also send a Therion card to the graveyard to negate a card effect. Therion's Disc Coliseum can not only prevent your monsters from being destroyed by battle, foolish your card to the graveyard, it also can add a Therion's monster if one of your monsters is destroyed. That card in the hand is also right back in the hand too, meaning that you have 4 to 5 cards to also be able to use. It is completely ridiculous how powerful the cards in Age of Overlord has made Therion. I'm excited to see what other creative Yu-Gi-Oh players are going to bring to this format, and I wouldn't be surprised if your boy or somebody else wins or tops with this deck.